Good morning, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
And this is the weekend workout where we invite you to play with your strength. We'll start with a warm-up. Lauren will take care of some crawls, then we'll have some space on the wall to work on some wall climbs today. So join us for some handstands after a nice light warm-up. Let's start today with our feet just spread out a little bit and then hands across our body. Low effort, let's do our rib cage side to side bend. Dip one side, pull to the middle, and repeat that same action on the other side. When we return to the middle, we need to soften this side to go over on it and maybe tighten it up to give us support to move the other way. And the same thing the last time is a side bend and pull. Get nice and tall. Then with those shoulder blades retracted, a super light chin tuck looking down. Now round through that upper back, but keep the shoulder blades squeezing together. And then pull down on those abs lightly as we lift up through the rib cage. That was up through the rib cage. Repeat once or twice again as we round or flex, and then pull down and lift up. And repeat one last time, light flexion or rounding, and find these abdominals as we extend and find tall. Lastly, at the head here, can we just do a rotation? Look towards your left or right, and then through center. And repeating to the other side. In the middle. Then, keeping your head forward, also the hips forward, could we turn through the rib cage or T-spine and back to the middle, and then repeat the other way. Keeping the shoulders retracted will let us truly explore the rotation through the rib cage and back to middle. And I believe one more time here. And as our last set of rotations, let the head and shoulders move as a team, keeping those hips forward and reset middle. And the same thing the other side. The chin again is staying in line with that sternum or your center chest bone, and return middle. And one more time, where can you get an easy way? And then find your muscles as you bring them back to center. And then coast into a nice gentle rotation and power through back to the middle. And then add a little shakeout. A couple more things for me up top here. Let's do our shoulder blades then that shrug up, the shoulders that round forward, and then the shoulders that pull down. Then to do an elevation or an up phase again, and then do a light retraction or squeeze, and then also down. Repeating one more time, up, elevation, round forward and down. And our handstands today, shrugging shoulders are helpful. So we'll do one more time, shrug up, lightly retract together, and then pull down. And then at the hands, let's just make fists. Then with fists, bend or flex on the wrists so your knuckles may face forward. And do our biceps curl next. Take the hands and point them towards one another at the wrists or the knuckles there, and then pull apart with the knuckles point to the ceiling. Shrug our shoulders, then pull down, and then with the elbow tips facing forward, aim to be heavy on those armpits, and return the elbows to the ribs, then initiate the fingers to point to the back wall, then extend on the wrists next, and then extend or straighten the elbows after. With a 1% check on the shoulder blades just to squeeze them together, let's then take those arms into extension or behind us on the shoulder there. And then for one more time, make a fist. Keep the elbow straight and bend the wrist. Then bend on the elbow. Ensure you're pulling apart those hands as if to tauten up a rope. And then with the elbows forward, this time we'll point to the back wall. Extend the wrists, straightening or extending on the elbows next. And then lightly bring them back down to your hips and a shake. That's a very gentle upper body check-in, I hope. How's the rib cage feeling? Head and neck, shoulders and hands. We'll explore more of those in a second.
Excellent. Let's get to those feet and toes and ankles and knees next. With your feet underneath you, we'll pull the floor back, sending the knee forward and the ankle staying in line underneath you. Now for today, because we're balancing upside down, let's balance right side up first. So push down into the floor and come up to a two-legged two-point balance, and then gently bend the other knee coming down. We'll repeat this one more time on each side. As we land, we'll land with a flat foot on one and that demi or lunge foot on the other foot. Last one on two, and then down. This time from this demi point, we'll take our toes and gently point them. We'll flex around over. We'll come back to that pointed foot and then go up and switch and repeat on the other side. Point toes, gently flex around over, come back over the toes, up and switch. This time on landing, our heel will land. We'll keep that heel up, but we'll gently bend the knee of what was that straight leg. Keeping the shoulders stacked over top of the hips, press into the floor, extend the hip, go double up, heel lands, knee bends, sink into that squat. Up one more time on each side here. First land on a straight leg, then absorb through the knee. Lightly sending the hips back behind you, extend, butt squeezes, land, knee bend towards over toe. Let's finish with one more balance up top, just holding. So when we hold this balance, we're pushing down into the floor, trying to lift our heels as high away from the floor as we can, squeezing our cheeks, pulling our kneecaps up, and our hips are stacked, our rib cage is stacked over top of our hips. We'll descend with nice straight legs. Once our heels land, we'll start to bend the knees. We'll slowly peel those heels up, descend towards the floor. And then with or without your hands, soft landing on those knees, hips extend, point your toes out the back, and just for a second, sit on those pointed feet. Next, we'll extend the hips, and let's just do one quick lunge on each side here. So one knee will come forward into woo, your kneeling lunge here. Try to have a fairly vertical front shin, and what I want you to think about is being square to the front of your room, but also having your shoulders over top of your hips, over top of your back knee. So you're trying to create this nice straight line, avoiding that light lean forward that sometimes we get in our lunge. So by doing that, we're going to extend that back hip, squeeze the cheek, gently pressing it forward, and pull in that front leg. Let's pull in that front leg so much that we drift as one unit. What you will notice as we send that knee towards over the toe, though, is that we still maintain that nice long line. And then we go back and stay stacked. One more time, shoulders stay on top of hips, gently drift forward, and then come back to tally tall. Take a second off there, put that leg underneath, and we'll repeat on the other side. Other leg out front, vertical shin, stack, stack, stack. Squeeze that back butt cheek, pull the front leg in, and just hold. While also trying to find level horizontally across that belt line. Then gently pull, drifting your knee towards over your toe, maintaining that back hip extension. Push forward, tall, 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 tall. One last time. Drift yourself forward. As you come back to tall, keep extending that back hip forward. Good. Relax that. We'll come down, do quick wrists, and then one more little lunge series there. We'll hinge at the hips, placing the fingers down, the calluses and those full hands. We'll do 2 wrists here today. This first one, with all those fingers spread out, our shoulders pulled out of our ears, and our elbow pits rotated forward. I want you to think about using all your fingers, connecting them to the floor. Then we'll pull ourselves forward, drifting our shoulders towards over top of our fingers, or wrist extension, and use your fingers to press yourself back. Let's repeat that one more time. We'll drift forward. When we're in our handstand, we get that wrist extension. So warm it up here. Use those fingers, kind of creating like a dome-like position there, and then press yourself back. And last time, we'll drift forward. Now, we'll press ourselves back and flick the floor away like you're getting out of that handstand. Shake it out, just one more rotation. I'd like to go all the way around. Fingers face your knees, fingertips, full palms on the ground. Gently shrug your shoulders up and then pull your shoulders down. With straight elbows, lightly sit back into that, trying to keep the palms nice and connected to the floor, but keeping your shoulders down. We'll pull ourselves back forward. Now from the stacked position, could you add a light bend to those elbows? And then we'll sit back, peeling the palms, and then finally the hands away. Let's do one more lunge out to the side, and then we'll move on. Knee to the front. Heel toe that leg open to the side, doesn't have to be far. Extended back hip, so still stacked. Pull on that side leg, drifting that knee towards over a toe. And then again, come back to tall, squeezing that back hip forward. Repeat again. Pull, drifting yourself knee towards over toe. And then press yourself all the way back to tall. Heel toe that leg to the front, bring it underneath, and we'll repeat on the other side. Leg to the front first. Heel toe open to about 10 or 2 o'clock on the clock face. Knee and big toe in line, or index toe. Extended back hip, light drift, and then press yourself back. One last time. Level hips, drift yourself forward, and press yourself back to tally tall. Bring that to center, and then
a little bit of a core roll, and then Lauren's core plank strength strategies. So let's take some time landing fingers, calluses, hands with a nice wide hand set up here, and take a single hand out to the side of the hip. Then bending the elbow connected to the floor, look through that window, take a big breath, and just get the top of the shoulder aiming to touch the ground. With a breath, press back, set up those hands nice and wide, and repeat. It's a turned up palm at the hip, a sniff of the armpit, bend to the elbow, and then watch the microphone here as we get towards the floor. Then we'll do the same thing a couple more times. The progressions off this include trying to get your butt over your head and maybe enjoying a nice little roll. We can do that frontwards. We can eventually do that backwards. But just take some time getting upside down. And as much as we want our spine to be stiff and core strength in the plank, we're chasing some of those supple qualities of the spine as well. So perhaps here, let's just do one more time. Sniff an armpit, roll over if that's available.
rolling.
Rolling, making sure you have room and taking your time, frontwards and backwards. Good job, Lauren. So from supple cores, it's able to move. How do we tighten that up, Lauren?
Well, we're gonna get right into our plank here. So let's flip to our plank position, which means our hands are under our shoulders, our toes are gonna tuck. We will lift our hips up into that plank position. Hold. Shoulders pull down out of your ears, butt cheeks squeeze. Shoulders or hips are in the same line, so let's avoid that saggy butt here. Nobody wants that. Lift them up nice and tight. Squeeze them like you're minting a coin in those cheeks. Pull your shoulders down. Brace your abs and keep breathing. This first one, we're going to push the floor forward, lifting the hips up to a light A-frame or down dog position. Right now, I want you to bend your knees, tip your tailbone to the ceiling, keep your tailbone there, and then slowly try to straighten your knees. Instead of pushing your heels down, think about extending your knees from your hips and your hamstrings, not just your calves. Then rock forward back to that plank position and hold. For 5, everything's tight again. If I lifted your feet up, you'd go to a handstand. 2, hips lift. This time take one foot with you, lifting up to that 3-point position. Again, hips are square to the floor. Try to reach that leg long, but maintain the squareness. And then it comes down, pull yourself back to a plank. Repeat other side. Flick, lift, square up those hips, reach the leg to the ceiling, and then pull yourself through to one last plank. Hold, tight, 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 tight. Knees down. Whew, take a second off. Give those hands a little shake.
Exactly. Give those hands a little shake. And from here, let's just get up, but then we're going to get right back down. So this is our sides to sit or our toe squat series here. So from crouching on your heels, could you cramp those butt cheeks and push through? Then tucking the toes underneath and with the hands or without, push yourself back to that toe balance that Lauren's showing. And can we stand up on those toes all the way up? Now from this position, can we transfer weight to one and either pretend or with a balance aid, lift a single leg nice and high on that single standing leg. Hold for a couple seconds, enhance that coordination and balance here, and then find 2 points and do the same thing on the other side. Straight knees, bum cheeks that squeeze, and just slow, gradual weight transfers here to hold. Quick balances. Whew, not so on it today. So again, grab that balance aid, and with a little bit of help, maybe we can achieve. Then go 2 points, and then go heels down to the floor. Then we'll go knees over toes. We'll slowly peel up those heels. With control, get the knees back to the ground, then extend those hips through, point those toes, come on back.
We'll come back to one here that's a little bit of a core mixed with a little bit of hips. And then it's time to climb the wall. So we'll end up in that plank position to start here. Let's get there. Hands under shoulders, hips lift up. Then we'll take a foot, flicking the floor, and lift that foot and place it gently beside a hand, the same hand. Next, I want you to think about reaching your back heel out the back door and reaching your front knee out the front wall. Splitting yourself in half here, then pulling the tension back together, lifting your front foot and placing it back where you got it. Repeating on the other side, flick, lift, hold. Reach out the front knee, reach out the back heel, then pull everything together, lift, and place it back. One more time each side, flick, lift, place. This time, reaching away from center, but now place your back knee down. Trying to keep that spine extended or chest up a little bit. Gently take that back foot, getting that heel towards your butt. Keep your back butt cheek squeezed or extended, pushing it towards the floor. And then tuck the back toe. Lift the back knee, still reaching the heel away from center, squeezing that cheek. Then pull everything back in, lifting the front foot and placing it back, other side, flick. Lift up, place down. Reaching away from center, then placing the back knee down by bending it, flicking the floor away, trying to bend the heel towards the butt cheek. Keep the cheek squeezed, heart extended, then toe will tuck. Knee will lift, reach away from center, then pull everything back in, lift that front foot, place it back. Let's lift those hips up, warm up those hammies one more time by stapling our hands to the floor and trying to walk our feet to our hands, breathing, peeling the hands away, tucking the chin, and slowly stacking ourselves up to tally tall.
Tally tall. We've done some sets of squats already today in that nice parallel position. So let's do two other positions here. First being that nice narrow or first turned out position here. Pull the heels together to create a nice diamond shape between the knees and have the knees reaching towards that wall behind you, and then extend the hips in front of you. Repeating two more, feel the pull energy coming down, heavy on those toes, big and small, and push those hips through to finish again. Then pull ourselves down one more time, keep those knees reaching to the back wall, and push your hips all the way through. Now transfer weight to a single leg, and then just step out to the other side, and repeat 3 repetitions of pulling in, getting down in our squat stance, and pressing through the feet and extending through the hips. Repeating again, rooting the feet, just like the hands in that handstand, getting low and pushing away. That's right. Hey, where do you like your feet? Personalize that squat stance. It might be different than if you're holding a kettlebell or a similar loaded squat, but push yourself out, finish nice and tall, and then push one way and go the other. So before we go to those walls and do our climbs, let's just do one more set of our handstand entries here in open space. Lauren's favorite is that tripod entry, so go for it, Lauren. I'll describe. Hands are on the floor, shoulders are over. Follow along with Lauren or follow along with me in a second. And right now, just work on a little bit of hang time or those little baby airs here. And as allowed, climb a little bit higher. Perhaps scissor those legs, keep it nice and straight. And if you do end up upside down, that's cool. Stay there, enjoy that, but then evaluate what worked for you. This one
is the step-in entry. Oh, no, it's not. It's the tripod. So Ian will be performing the tripod next. So with those hands open on the floor, gripping, just like we practiced in that wrist warm-up, use all the digits of your fingers, of your hand. And then start with that baby air, making sure you're okay with being upside down, and slowly progress to something a little bit wild. If you're worried about going over too far, remember to leave that back leg out the back, and it'll always bring you back down.
It might always bring you back down, that's right. So that is version A of our handstand step-in. Version 2 or version B, again, would be then this one. The hollow shape, the arms overhead, and the soft landing, and then the down. Beautiful shape there, Lauren, with those toes pointing to the ceiling. And again, we might chase those baby airs or just little weight transfers first and do a couple more. I think I did 5 or 6 repetitions on my previous drill and something in that neighborhood right now to stay fresh. There's lots of time to find that gorgeous line like that.
Whew. All right, so that step in, most importantly, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, arms overhead with elevated shoulders and already in that hollow position. When you kick up, you'll be flicking the floor away, but when you get back to your feet, really think about pushing the floor so you can get back to standing up tall. As mentioned before, if you want to leave that leg out behind you, creating that L shape, that leg will bring you back down to where you came from. It's when you start kicking and winding up that other leg that you might find yourself sometimes going side to side.
We've done a lot of work on those hands, whether it's the warm-up and the crawls and the lizards and the handstand kick-ups. Are your wrists feeling good? If so, clear space on that wall and follow along with Team Lauren there to do a 15-second or similar wall climb. Lauren will place her hands on the ground. And then, just like last week, we climbed up that gymnastics ladder, but today we're looking for that full straight line overhead. 15 seconds started 5 seconds ago, so it's only about 10 more as we go through here, and we're always making sure that we're breathing. Pushing the floor down through the hands, shrugging the shoulders is helpful, and that's been 15 seconds. So with control, a little cartwheel dismount there, shake it out, and I go, you go. So if you follow along with Lauren there, enjoy some rest.
So now Team Ian's going here, we're shaking out those wrists. You might wonder why we're facing the wall instead of kicking up into it. We're doing this because facing the wall encourages and promotes that hollow position. Sometimes when we 5 more seconds, sometimes when we go to kick the wall, we end up reaching to the wall, 3, 2, safe dismount. We end up reaching to the wall with the legs and end up in more that banana shape that we don't want to practice. We want to maintain that hollow position, and with that face the wall, which is harder, you'll get that practice a little bit more.
Let's try that twice. So taking some time in between and taking your time to work on that truly vertical or perpendicular body shape to the floor. It's okay if you're on that 45-degree angle or if you're on that bench or gymnastics ladder like us last week. That's already been our 5 seconds. We're still looking for consistent rounds of 15. So then another 5 and working on maybe taking away some base of support on the wall like Lauren is right there. And then that's our 15. So with control, come down, enjoy a wiggle, and let's do that again.
What this also helps teach too, once you do get more to that upside down position. So again, like Ian said, if you're on that kind of diagonal, great, work from there, try to get that hollow shape. But what you can also do here is take the time and think about your hands because you have that wall. So if you start going too far one way, using your fingers to press yourself back. If you start going too far, 3, 2, safe dismount. The other way, using your palms. So this drill allows you to figure out how important your hands are for your balance, just like your feet.
Just like your feet. And from the feet, we'll do squats here. So have your feet in that parallel position, lightly turn out on the heels, and then open to your wider stance. Continuing Lauren Lizard's crawl from before, let's just work on a Shiko squat to open our hips. That's a weight transfer. So we'll pull ourselves down onto 2 feet, and we stand up, pull those heels together. Then pull up to the ankle, point out to the side, land toe ball heel, and repeat. Then this time, might we find a single base of support. So from 2 feet, arrive on a single leg, point those toes just like in your handstand, and pull down. Single base of support with a glute cramp. Then point and land, and this time could you find the knee right away? And then point and land. And the same thing, other side, find the knee. Point and land. For one more time, could you find the knee? Could you climb a little higher? Could you climb a little higher, keeping those hips level? Then point and land. And final time at the knee. Then lift the knee, but keep the hip low and point. And last time in that squat here, push up, whew, shake it out. One more set on that wall climb. Keeping it about 15 seconds again today. Looking for consistent numbers, but of course we could grow those over the week if you practice by yourself or when you join us next week. 15 seconds started right now, and we're breathing. And as Lauren cued, find your fingertips. It's hand balances, it's handstands. The hands are integral to the balance and the success of your handstand. So for 3 more seconds here, are the fingers heavy? You have that hollow shape, and with control, come down. I go, you go, or you go, I go. Here we go.
So for me, what I always found was the hardest part of that upside down balance was finding how to get the weight from my palm back to my fingers. Because as you start tipping your butt over your head or going, which way is that? Backwards, I guess. 4, 3, 2, it's easier to use your fingers to press yourself back. But once you start coming down, it's harder to transfer your weight from the palm back to your fingers. So what this drill allows you to do is it allows you to also use the wall a little bit with your feet, so you can feel how you can try to shift your weight from your palm back to your fingertips and avoid ending up on your feet, which is a good place to land if you're going to land.
The load on the wrist, you can't get away from that. But as Lauren's trying to share there, share the load into the fingertips and those callus lines. 15 seconds, we're on that clock there, and we're breathing. You might have that chin tuck looking at the wall behind you, or looking at the hands right underneath. Sometimes in this drill, I do look at the wall, really focusing on that line, but in my handstand for 3 more seconds there, Lauren, I do look between my hands on the ground. Find the place that works for you, and let's do that one last time here today.
Whew. That's some work there upside down, shaking that out. The other thing to think about while you're up there is that you're pushing the floor down. So push down and you'll go up. What also is easier is if you're balancing on nice straight elbows. Your shoulders are elevated in that hollow hold. So for the last 5 seconds here, straighten your elbows even more. For 4, 3, and then safe dismount. Whew.
Excellent.
Takes a lot of wall climbs to get yourself up in free space. So take your time and keep practicing those basics.
Sticking with the same thing, let's do one more set of our Shiko squat. So turn out those feet, step open to your preferred squat stance, and let's pull down and find a base of support, single base of support right away. It's a pull down and straighten that standing leg, pushing down to grow tall. Then point and land and find that single base on the other side. Point and land. Now find the knee, if that's available, followed by our point and land, and right up to the knee with cramped glutes. Point, land. It's the same thing for the final time, but this time might we lift the knee higher and higher, but the hips stay low, and we point the leg and land on 2 feet, and right away to the knee, climb if available, point through those toes, land in your squat, stand up, and shake it out.
Whew. Excellent. I think we could finish with what?
Whatever.
30 seconds. We'll bring it down to 30 seconds today of free time. So whether that's holding a plank position and finishing with some wrists, holding an elephant or a 3-point position, climbing that wall, or trying some kick-ups in space, let's spend 30 more seconds on those hands working on one of the following skills, or the previously listed skills. We'll start in 4, excuse me, 3, 2, 30-ish seconds here. Take your time, breathe.
Oh, gotta reset that. Nice job, Lauren. Whew. That's been 30. Lauren's on fire, so keep it going. Know when to quit as well. Keep it going. Pointing those toes. Solid, Lauren.
Whoa.
40 seconds right there, Lauren.
Whew.
Amazing. Some days you might have a minute, and other days you might have 2 seconds. Taking time, checking in, shaking out those wrists in between. Progress is non-linear, I think, was that fluttering hand there. And we appreciate you being here with us for this week 3 of 6 of our 3rd semester that culminates the last week. But next week, we do it again.
That culminates
This week.
Oh,
the week is over. We get to
right.
rest now.
So on Tuesday, we're back to our kettlebells for week 4. On Thursday, the bar with our hips and our overhead presses. And then on Saturday, we're back here with our body weight. Until then, like and subscribe on YouTube, check out our website, and visit us on Patreon. Until next time, take care.
Stay strong.
And we'll train soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.